Hello from Prague. My name is Yvona Kreuzmannová, and I'm running Tanec Praha, one of the partners of Be SpectACTive project. And I'm really happy to welcome Koraljka Begović. She's from Croatia. And I would like to start by you. You are the artist who was selected for Be SpectACTive participative creation, and you had very nice ideas how to work with different groups of people. So first of all, can you tell us about you as an artist?
Yes, hi Yvonne, and thank you. First, I want to actually thank you for this invitation, for this talk, and for the opportunity to kind of connect a little bit more in these unusual times. Yes, so I was the artist that was selected, but before I start to talk about myself a little bit, I really want to point out that in this process, in the project that we did as part of Be SpectACTive program, actually, like, all the people that were involved in the process were really super important. So the dramaturg and all the dancers and the musician and the light designer, and we had also two people who were kind of on the outside, more like advisors who were like keeping the track of the entire process. So I was leading the process, but it's really important to say that everybody, entire artistic team was actually equally involved in everything that we did, and in the end, of course, in the results of entire project. So for myself, yes, I'm from Zagreb. I'm born and raised here in Zagreb, Croatia, and for the last 5 years, I'm also based here, like privately and professionally. Um, I actually started dancing also here, like when I was quite young. I had some stops in between, teenage years and all of that. And like in the beginning, most of my education was non-institutional. So I was kind of gathering as much experiences as I could. And at one point, I just decided that I wanted and needed more. So, like, first, more institutionalized education I got was in Berlin, in Tanzfabrik. So I spent a year there. And after that, I came back to Zagreb. I spent 2 years on a dance academy that was newly opened here in Croatia. And then I went actually in Ireland, and I finished my master there in contemporary dance performance. So this was kind of the education. But during the education, actually, like, for me, the most important part was collaboration with different artists, with different teachers, like pedagogues, but also choreographers. So I was kind of always trying to get as much as experience as possible, working with different people here in Croatia, but also abroad. When I kind of opened up and went to Berlin, that was like a huge change for me, because I met a lot of people from all over the world, and it completely changed my perspective of how I perceive dance and education and performing and creating. So that was really like one point that, like, brought me here where I am today. So yeah.
Great, thank you. I saw your curriculum vitae, and I have to tell that I was really impressed, jumping from Berlin through Croatia to Limerick, and I saw some wonderful names like Vesna, which is very, very strong, Vrški, she's very
Yes.
strong conceptual artist. So
I actually work with her now. I'm actually, like, we are making a new project that will have premiere in June this year. So she's choreographing and I'm performing. It will be a solo. So yes, yes, nice.
So, yeah, great. So for me, you are representing this progressive young generation of artists. And we are following. I am actually, to just introduce myself a little bit, I'm coming from the country which was under communist regime until 89, and I grew up under this, and so for my studies it was not so easy, but immediately after the Velvet Revolution I jumped in the foreign universities, Sorbonne, Paris 8, and then to the different main festivals and events abroad. And I funded the festival Tanec Praha, which means Dance Prague, and then later on the Czech Dance Platform, which is quite important. And 10 years later, I funded the first dance venue in Prague, the real dance house. And now we are developing it also for some more studios and facilities for dancers. So thanks to all of these activities, the dance was growing up incredibly in the Czech Republic. And I can see that very similar role was played in your country by Mirna
Yes.
Žagar. And
Yes,
sure,
yes.
we are very good friends and similar generations. So it's interesting to see how your generation is now having the profit from all of this development in our countries. And we are no more behind the Iron Curtain. And I can imagine, what year did you come to Berlin?
It was 2011, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
end of 2011, 2012, something like that. So it was like 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yes, because and that I mean, yeah, what you did and what Mirna did here, and like a lot of other people, definitely it is definitely visible. Mm-hmm. So it was quite different before, and now like more and more opportunities. And even when I look the dancers who are and authors who are much younger than myself, mm-hmm. they have different opportunities. Yeah. They definitely have a different starting point when they want to get involved in dance. So also like for me at that point, the only solution was to go somewhere abroad. Mm-hmm. And I chose Berlin. It was a great decision. But yes, like all the hard work that is happening in Croatia, and I'm sure in Czech Republic is like very similar situation. And what you said and what we actually experienced when we were in Prague, like all this hard work for decades and decades, it's definitely, it is slow and hard work, but it's definitely paying back. I can assure that. It's so much different now than it was before. And I'm sure for all the younger generations, they're really happy that they can kind of pick up all the fruits from the work that was happening for the last 40 years.
Thank you. Now let's jump to your creation. We selected your project, which is called Playing Reality.
Yes.
And we were very inspired by the team and the way of research you planned. So I know that Prague was your first residency, and you were a little bit maybe afraid to work with older people, because we gave you a group of real seniors who are having in mind some games from their childhood, which were really old one. And of course, the games of today children are totally different. So what was this experience, and what was the main theme of Playing Reality? Can you explain it?
Yeah, so the experience in Prague and the work with the senior group was amazing. Actually, like it brought so much interesting information, and actually for us, it brought like a new experience and like really huge joy. Like I really want to use that word joy, because it was so joyful to work with them. It's kind of similar like when you work with kids, they are usually like very open for whatever ideas you bring, and then like through the years we kind of shut down. And this like working with seniors was amazing, like really opening up, because they have all this life experience, very different each person, but it's so amazing to look at them and to see how actually in the older age, they are also like, again, opening up for all the possible inputs and for all the possible new informations and things to do. For us, it was super interesting to see and to hear about the games that they were actually playing while they were young. And we actually understood, like I grew up in the late 80s, and like in the team that was in Prague, like we were a bit of different generations and from different parts of Croatia. But it was super interesting to see that actually people in Prague, like this generation that is quite older than we are, we had so much similarities about how we spent our childhoods, what kind of games we played. So it was really interesting to look at that. And about the project, like our main idea, my main idea, and like people who came with me in the like entire artistic team, they kind of jumped on that also. My main idea was to this is just actually for me the beginning to start to explore this theme of childhood games, because I think it's very important. And for me, what was my biggest motivation was the physicality of what is happening in these games, because it's so amazing to look at the kids. Like, even now, of course, the times changed and the games are different and everything, but you can still, from time to time, you can still see kids like playing outside, and like the physicality of what is happening and how much they are active and how much innocence they actually have in the movement. That was something that was like motivation for me as an author, to as a dancer, to like dive deeper into that and to really explore what can we get from all those games, because like we always seek for different inspirations. And for me it was like, okay, let's go back to the basic, let's go back to the roots. And for me that's childhood, like the first movements that we do, like what do we learn when we are like, okay, we learn how to walk, but then like we are playing, this is how we use our body when we are kids, we are actually playing. So that was kind of the most important for me, to really explore the physicality of that.
And did you discover anything similar in ex-Yugoslavia and ex-Czechoslovakia?
Well, yes, like I can say really, like I think 99% of the games were actually the same, just the words were different, but how you played it and where we did it, like was it outside, was it inside, and like all these rules, it was like very, very similar. So there is a lot of connection. And after Prague, we actually went to Sweden, and there was a difference. So you can actually see what is happening there. So it's a different part of the Europe. And like one important thing that I definitely realized, it's a different climate also. So the climate kind of influenced what they do and how they actually work with that. And how much time they spend outside or inside, what kind of games they have. Like for them, it was really different to see that a lot of games are based in kind of in some history moments, in some like people from the history, things like that. And they had a lot of games. Like we also worked with the local community, and it was interesting to see that they actually have the games that are including much more broader spaces outside, and also the games that are actually going on for not only, okay, we play a game, like here it's everything is so quick, we do it, we have a rule, we have the beginning, we have the end, and that's it. And for them it's like they have time, they play the games for days and for weeks. They really have the game that has rules that is happening for like, it can last for a few weeks. Okay. So it's like a lot of strategies. So it's very different. Like it's more for me, like if I think about the sensation of that, like in Sweden, everything is more calmer and it's more strategic. But then it's like ex-Czechoslovakia, ex-Yugoslavia, it's like fast, snippets of this, snippet of that. So it's really like a different state of mind, different approach, and different life, definitely. So we actually missed the last residency in France.
Yeah, that was my question, because the COVID came. You were here in January, then you came to Sweden in February, I suppose.
Yes, exactly.
In 2020, and then the COVID pandemic started very strongly.
Yes.
So how did you manage with France?
We actually didn't manage to go there. So that was the one, I wouldn't say problem, because we kind of, we finished the project and everything. We had our premiere and everything was great. But we definitely felt that we missed this residency in France. We had to finish the work in Zagreb, in Croatia, to have a premiere of that. We will actually travel to France this year. We had to postpone everything, but also we had to finish the process. We had to have this like premiere in Zagreb. And we had a chance to actually do it, because there were like few months between first and second lockdown, or however we call it, that the theaters were open, and we actually managed to have like around 70 people in the audience.
Bravo.
For today, that's quite a lot. So it was really great to experience that. But with the friends, we will go there this year around October. So we will also have the experience. I mean, it might actually influence. We will see how it will be organized, how long we will stay there. But it might actually influence development of the piece, because we realize that we don't want to kind of stop here. There is so much more. So I'm sure it will develop a bit more.
Very nice. So we jump for the last 5 minutes in the situation of COVID, which is really, really strange. And I can tell you, in 30 years of my work in the arts, I never survived something like that. It was really a big shock for the whole Europe and the whole world. So did you manage to find something positive in it? If you look at the future, did you take from this experience something what will bring you other way, or show you other methods or possibilities, open the doors for new thinking, or do you just wish to forget it and go on with the live performances?
Well, maybe not to forget it. I think, I mean, although it's really difficult, I think for all of us, and yes, nobody experienced something like that in this lifetime. But not to forget, like for me personally, the biggest lesson was definitely, and I think a lot of people can agree with that, was definitely to kind of slow down, to take time. This is something that also I really want to include in my work. I definitely
managed. You really managed to slow down, because I cannot tell it in my work.
Not yet, not really, not yet. But that definitely kind of became one of my biggest goals in this moment, to bring deeper focus into the things that we are doing, to stop like this hyper production and creating a lot. So that was something that really came, like emotionally, that came out of this lockdown and everything. On the other hand, I definitely have to say I really miss live performances. I really miss seeing people also as a performer. It's really difficult to, like, I miss seeing people's faces while I'm performing, while I'm on the stage. I really want to see their faces, and I want to see again like a bunch of people in the audience. So that was something that definitely is missing. About the approach to the work and about the methods, like one thing is this slowing down for sure. And for example, the other thing, like also with the project Playing Reality, so we did it for the theater, and during this time and in the last year, we performed it only 3 times, so we didn't have really much chance to perform it or to travel with the piece. That is a really pity, I think. But we started to think about making like another version of this piece for the outside, for example.
That was my question. Open air.
Yes, open air, because it makes a lot of sense. Also, like, to, again, I'm going back to the basics, like where we started with the childhood games. We had a lot of focus on the games that we're playing outside, and now, like, with the artistic team, we talked, okay, we really want to develop this, because we have to find new ways. We don't know how long this will go for, and we really miss performing. And I think, but not only performing, like connection with the audience.
It's this interaction.
And we definitely, our plan is definitely to develop this piece further and to see what can we do with this piece to bring it out and to make it for the open air.
Please do it. There are some very nice opportunities, and many festivals are now looking for open air performances. And I'm really crossing fingers for you. And I know that you are performing it tonight, just by chance, which is great. You are one of few countries which are opening the theater for a limited number of persons. But for sure, the open air is a really important and interesting way of getting back the audience and the direct contact with the people we really wish to work with. So I really cross fingers for you. I hope you will send us some video recording, because we are all curious about the result, especially when you were in residency in our country. And of course, all of seniors who worked with you, they will all I have to tell, they were so excited and they loved the work, and they are still speaking about it, and they are looking forward to come and see your performance live. So
great. We are really looking forward to come back to Prague.
Absolutely. So it will be our pleasure, and I'm really happy that I can see that you can continue with France, because the planning and replanning of all of activities of Be SpectACTive, this is some process which is very difficult. But our work is not only about the product, like final performance, but this is also the process. And I feel that the process of having the participation of different groups to work with is something what was bringing some added value to your work. And
definitely it was amazing experience to have that. And also, like, what we realized while we had this chance to work with different people, like how much we can actually take this topic of the games and of that, like, physicality and movement into like educational part. So we actually realized that it would be amazing, and also that's another thing that we want to develop beside this like open air version of the performance, like the workshops that we can do with not only with seniors or with kids, but actually with all generations, and connect more, and to bring something for entire families, for entire community. And of course, like, it's amazing to do it outside in open air. So I hope it will go in this direction.
So in any case, thank you for coming and bringing us the ideas and sharing your experience. And we look forward to family-friendly performances also in open air. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.